Welcome to this episode of Fast Radio. This episode of Fast Radio is brought to you by Revolution Home Buyers. Revolution Home Buyers is a full-service real estate investment company that pays cash for houses and closes in as little as 3 to 7 days. You can visit revolutionhomebuyers.com for more information, or you can call their office at 817-791-7002. Welcome to Fast Radio, episode number 7. Hey, I'm your host, James Like, and I'm with you every single Friday for just a couple of minutes to give you that injection needed to get you through the weekend and start the week off right on Monday. Thank you for joining me today. Today, I wanted to talk with you about 10 toxic things that unsuccessful people do that you need to avoid if you want to be successful. So let's jump right into it today. Number 1, unsuccessful people fear change. I've heard a quote before that said that you're either growing or you're dying. And so growing requires change, just like the leaves on a tree drop every single year for it to go dormant and come back to life in the spring. The leaves then come back, but you're constantly changing, and change is something that has to happen. After all, going from unsuccessful at life to being successful is, and in and of itself, a change. So in order to make one change, you must make other changes. Here's the thing, don't be afraid of moving to a new city. Don't be afraid to change your work and or life habits. Unsuccessful people try to keep everything the same all the time because that is within that comfort zone. If you're going to be successful, you need to get out of your comfort zone and get into the habit of changing the bad things in your life. Number 2, they blame others for their failure. Man, I could sit all day and talk about the victim mentality, about he did this or she did this, and just blaming others for being unsuccessful. But successful people, they don't blame others. Unsuccessful people blame others for their failures. If something bad happens, you should be accepting responsibility for it. Now, there are going to be some circumstances in life that happen, some situation where it was someone else's fault. And listen, those are times that you're just going to have to roll with it. However, in most cases, bad things happen as a result of something you did, whether it was a bad decision, whether it was a bad move, or something of that nature. It's because of something that you did. If you didn't get that promotion, you either didn't try enough or you didn't make your effort known to those who matter. I'm not saying that you're a failure because something bad has happened to you, because bad things happen even to good people everywhere. However, accepting responsibility for the bad things that happen so that you can prevent fewer bad things from happening to you is the way that you need to go if you want to be successful. Number 3 thing that unsuccessful people do is they do not set goals. They fail to set goals. If you don't know where you want to go and you don't have a goal set up, how are you going to reach it? How are you going to know what steps to take in between to get there? If you don't set goals, how do you expect to reach greatness? Unsuccessful people try too hard to go with the flow and see what happens. That's a poor way to conduct your entire life. People need goals in order to succeed, and unsuccessful people are generally not even striving to be anything more than what they already are. Number 4 thing that unsuccessful people do, they get distracted every single day. See, tomorrow is always the time to get things done. You'll hear unsuccessful people say things like, I'll stop smoking tomorrow. I'll go on a diet on Monday. I'll start exercising next week. See, today is the day, and now is the time. It's never too soon to change your life. If you're sitting around watching TV or playing video games for 6 to 8 hours a day, you're not making any improvements. Number 5, unsuccessful people don't appreciate anything. Unsuccessful people simply do not show any gratitude. See, no one ever became a somebody alone. You may have heard some rap stars say that they rose from poverty by themselves. That's nonsense. They rose from poverty with the help and support of hundreds and thousands, if not millions of fans. When you do well at work, it's partially because the other people at your work do their jobs, which in turn allow you to do your job better. No one owes you anything. No one has to help you, but they do anyway. So thank them. Show gratitude. Fill their bucket. This can also be construed as having a sense of entitlement. You know who likes people that act entitled? No one. Number 6, unsuccessful people stop learning. You know, John Maxwell has this awesome book that he put out, and it's called Sometimes You Win, Sometimes You Learn. See, unsuccessful people, they're afraid of failure, so they never fail. And really, in reality, all a failure is an opportunity to learn. And the day that someone stops learning is the day they sabotage their future. There's an infinite amount of things out there to learn, and knowledge is power. The more you know, the better you do. The better you do, the more successful you become. If you think you know all there is to know or all that you need to know, think again. Successful people never stop learning because the next lesson may be the lesson that helps them achieve even greater success. Number 7, unsuccessful people operate on a transactional perspective. There are a lot of big words here, so let's break it down. People who act this way always expect something in return for something they do. When they do you a favor, they expect a favor in return. If they loan you money, they expect you to loan them money someday. If they do your job one day, they expect that you do their job another day. This is a bad way to live because you'll only ever be as good as your favors. Also, a lot of people call this helping. My friends, it's not helping if you expect something in return. Number 8 thing that unsuccessful people do is they're always angry, and it's usually at other people. Unsuccessful people are angry because they're unsuccessful. They're stressed out. They're broke. They're angry. They take it out on the world instead of finding solutions to their own problems. If you see someone who would rather rant and rave than find a solution, then you've run into someone who is not interested in becoming successful. Keep in mind that being wealthy does not equate to just being successful. Successful people find solutions and are generally happy for it. Number 9, they say they do things that they don't do. A lot of people out there who do this. If you haven't done something, then you should own up to it. Don't take credit all the time just so that you can be looking like the good person here. No one has done everything, and it's not a sign of weakness to admit that you haven't done something. When you say you've done everything, people are either going to believe you or you'll end up in a position that is way over your head, which will cause you to fail or end up around a bunch of people who never believe a word that you say. Humility, my friends, goes a long way, and it's a positive character trait. Finally, number 10, unsuccessful people hoard information and data. This one is more abstract in practice, but simple in theory. Caring is sharing. When we were all little kids, and I've got 3 little daughters at home, and they are learning the whole what's mine is yours and the whole sharing premise, and it's been a struggle. I mean, teaching little kids that, hey, you can't have every toy that's in your closet. You can share those things, that everything doesn't belong to you. It's tough. But adults act that way. You know, when we're all little kids, our teachers tried to teach us that sharing is important. And people who hoard information and data that has gotten them ahead, that has caused them to be successful, and data that has empowered themselves to be destined for greatness, and they failed to share that, they actually caused themselves to be destined for failure because the other people who need this information do not get it. When they don't know, they fail. And as we discussed earlier, when people around you fail, you fail. Successful people share information because when the information is on the table, everyone uses it to be successful. If they're successful, your odds of becoming successful are much, much higher. There's something about giving and receiving. It's sowing a seed and reaping a harvest because of something that you did good for someone by sharing information that helps them get to another level. See, there's this big chasm, this big gap between being successful and being unsuccessful. There are a billion ways that someone can be unsuccessful, but there are far fewer ways to be successful. Find the ways to be successful. Live them. Listen to podcast number 6 last week when I gave you 10 ways to be successful, 10 habits to have when being successful. Live them and be the person that you know that you're capable of being. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Fast Friday. If you like this episode, please take a minute and like it on our Facebook page. Share it with your friends. Maybe tag a friend that you think this would be a benefit to. Leave us a review on Facebook. Please go and leave us a review on iTunes, and be sure to subscribe so that every week you can be a part of Fast Friday. Also, you can subscribe to us on Stitcher and any other podcast app that you come across there. If you don't see us on there, hit us up. We'll make sure we get the podcast on your podcast app. Thank you again for tuning in. Until next time, I wish you much freedom and success, and have a great, awesome weekend. Thank you for listening to this episode of Fast Radio. If this episode brought you value today and you want to impact someone else, tag a friend below in the comments and like our Facebook page for new episodes every Friday. And as always, you can visit our show notes page for all of the finer details. Once again, make sure to give us a like and have a good weekend.